Hi, I just wanted to pop on and do a quick little video in honor of the book release for Mountain and Ash. Now, Mountain and Ash is book 2 in the Anna Eva Brea series. I know that there might be a little bit of confusion because there is also a prequel novella for the series. So right now it goes Wrath and Wing, which is the prequel novella. Don't worry, it's optional. If you don't want to start there, you can just dive right into book 1, Ember and Stone. And now we have book 2 in this series out, Mountain and Ash. Now, I know that not everyone has gotten a chance yet to grab their copy of Ember and Stone. It is available as an ebook wherever ebooks are sold, and you can find your paperbacks on Amazon or get in touch with your local Barnes & Noble. They can order a copy for you if you like. But I wanted to do a quick reading for you from Ember and Stone. Now, one of the reasons that I'm most excited about the Anna Eva Brea series is, first of all, because I love building the world of Ilbrea, and it is going to be a very expansive world when I am through with it. The Anna Eva Brea series is just the first part of what we're going to look at in this world, and I love doing the world building. I also love writing about Anna. I love her compassion. I love her strength. I love her absolute lack of fear, even when she should probably have some. And, that does get her into trouble sometimes. But I wanted to share a bit from the beginning of the book with you. And I even have a fancy paperback copy. I travel so much, I hardly ever have copies of my own books with me, but I have one, so I can do the video with the fancy paperback. All right, here we are. Let me get this around the microphone. There we go. Gotta love hotel life. So, from Anna Eva Brea, Book 1, Ember and Stone. Chapter 1. The crack of the whip sent the birds scattering into the sky. They cawed their displeasure at the violence of the men below as they flew over the village and to the mountains beyond. The whip cracked again. Aaron did well. He didn't start to moan until the 4th lash. By the 7th, he screamed in earnest. No one had given him a belt to bite down on. There hadn't been time when the soldiers hauled him from his house and tied him to the post in the square. I clutched the little wooden box of salve hidden in my pocket, letting the corners bite deep into my palm. The soldier passed 40 lashes, not caring that Aaron's back had already turned to pulp. I squeezed my way to the back of the crowd, unwilling to watch Aaron's blood stain the packed dirt. Behind the rest of the villagers, children cowered in their mothers' skirts, hiding from the horrors the guild soldiers had brought with them. I didn't know how many strokes Aaron had been sentenced to. I didn't want to know. I made myself stop counting how many times the whip sliced his back. Bida, Aaron's wife, wept on the edge of the crowd. When his screams stopped, hers grew louder. The women around Bida held her back, keeping her out of reach of the soldiers. My stomach stung with the urge to offer comfort as she watched her husband being beaten by the men in black uniforms. But with the salve tucked in my pocket, hiding in the back was safest. I couldn't give Bida the box unless Aaron survived. Spring hadn't fully arrived, and the plants Lily needed to make more salves still hadn't bloomed. The tiny portion of the stuff hidden in my pocket was worth more than someone's life, especially if that person wasn't going to survive even with Lily's help. Lily's orders had been clear. Wait and see if Aaron made it through. Give Bida the salve if he did. If he didn't, come back home and hide the wooden box under the floorboards for the next poor soul who might need it. Aaron fell to the ground. Blood leaked from a gash under his arm. The soldier raised his whip again. I sank farther into the shadows, trying to comfort myself with the beautiful lie that I could never be tied to the post in the village square, though I knew the salve clutched in my hand would see me whipped at the post as quickly as whatever offense the soldiers had decided Aaron had committed. When my fingers had gone numb from gripping the box, the soldier stopped brandishing his whip and turned to face the crowd. "We did not come here to torment you," the soldier said. "We came here to protect Ilbrea. We came here to protect the guilds. We are here to provide peace to all the people of this great country. This man committed a crime and he has to be punished. Do not think me cruel for upholding the law. He wrapped the bloody whip around his hand and led the other 9 soldiers out of the square. 10 soldiers. It had only taken 10 of them to walk into our village and drag Aaron from his home. 10 men to tie him to the post and leave us all helpless as they beat a man who'd lived among us all his life. The soldiers disappeared, and the crowd shifted in toward Aaron. I couldn't hear him crying or moaning over the angry mutters of the crowd. His wife knelt by his side, wailing. I wound my way forward, ignoring the stench of fear that surrounded the villagers. Aaron lay on the ground, his hands still tied around the post. His back had been flayed open by the whip. His flesh looked more like something for a butcher to deal with than an illegal healer like me. I knelt by his side, pressing my fingers to his neck to feel for a pulse. Nothing. I wiped my fingers on the cleanest part of Aaron's shirt I could find and weaved my way back out of the crowd, still clutching the box of salve in my hand. Carrion birds gathered on the rooftops near the square, scenting the fresh blood in the air. They didn't know Aaron wouldn't be food for them. The villagers of Harane had yet to fall so low as to leave our own out as a feast for the birds. There was no joy in the spring sun as I walked toward Lily's house on the eastern edge of the village. I passed by the tavern, which had already filled with men who didn't mind we hadn't reached midday. I didn't blame them for hiding in there. If they could find somewhere away from the torment of the soldiers, better on them for seizing it. I only hoped there weren't any soldiers laughing inside the tavern's walls. I followed the familiar path home, along our one wide dirt road, past the few shops Harane had to offer, to the edge of the village where only fields and pastures stood between us and the forest that reached up the eastern mountain slopes. It didn't take long to reach the worn wooden house with the one giant tree towering out front. It didn't take long to reach anywhere in the tiny village of Harane. Part of me hated knowing every person who lived nearby. Part of me wished the village were smaller. Then maybe we'd fall off the guild's maps entirely. As it was, the guilds only came when they wanted to collect our taxes, to steal our men to fight their wars, or to find some other sick pleasure in inflicting agony on people who wanted nothing more than to survive. Or if their business brought them far enough south on the mountain road, they had to pass through our home on their way to torment someone else. I allowed myself a moment to breathe before facing Lily. I blinked away the images of Aaron covered in blood and shoved them into the dark corner with the rest of the wretched things it was better not to ponder. So that is a little excerpt from Chapter 1 of Ember and Stone. If you haven't checked this book out, like I said, ebook available basically everywhere. You can grab yourself a pretty paperback copy. I mean, look at the back of this. My cover artist is so cool. You can grab the paperback on Amazon or ask your local bookseller to find it for you. They can get access to that if they like. And yeah, check out Mountain and Ash because book 2 in the Enna of Ilbrea series is now out in the world. Thanks for watching.